I got Albany, Georgia on my mind as I pass away the time while sitting at the Flint. I know I've
Greetings and welcome to Politics in America 2023, streaming live on STREETZ989 Atlanta TV, Platinum Media Network. I'm your host, the First Lady, Minister Jazzy. We are the number one stream sharing the lives of extraordinary leaders, entertainers, and community advocates. Today, we welcome to our studio a dynamic prophet, teacher, and philanthropist, City of Albany Mayor Candidate, a live center, pastor, entrepreneur, community leader, Pastor Antonio Screen.
Hello, hello, hello.
Awesome. How are you, Screen? Thank you so much for joining me today to share with the audience a little bit more about who you are and your campaign strategies. Let's get started.
Yes. I'm excited. Thank you for having me. I'm really honored. I appreciate every opportunity that people will take out time in their day and their schedule to just have me be a part of anything that they do. So thank you so much first
Awesome.
for inviting me.
Screen, tell the audience briefly a little bit about who you are and why you are the candidate that should be chosen in the November 7th race in Albany, Georgia.
Awesome stuff. Well, I'm Antonio Screen. I've been here in Albany for the last 10 years of my life. I'm a native of Florida, actually. But I've been here, and since day one, we've just been hitting the ground running as it relates to just making an impact into this community. We've been very um, active, if you will, in helping those that are in need. That's been my heart from day one. I'm a servant. I was born to be that way, and that's my purpose. That's my purpose in life, is to serve people. And so I've been doing that for the last 10 years in every kind of way you can imagine. In addition to that, I have a very extensive experience as it relates to business. 25 years worth of business experience on my belt, and so been very successful at doing that. And so I'm excited about being able to bring that expertise into this office as well as mayor of this city. And so, yeah, I'm just ready. I know that the city is ready for change. The city is ready for progression. The city is tired of the same old thing over and over again. And I'm here. I told the people last night at the forum, I say, hey, the reality of it is this. Every time there has been a need, I show up. And so at the end of the day, when people are hungry, I show up. When people need shelter, when we were going through the storm, I showed up. When they need it, I can go on and on and on. If there's a need, and I'm here to be the answer and the solution. As many of you know, we have plenty of problems, plenty issues, plenty of problems, and we may or may not get into all of that today. It's just up to you. But we're here to just be the answer and the solution versus adding to the problem that we already have. And I think year after year and time after time, we continue to put people in office. That's just an extension of the problem that we already have. And I think now people are saying we're tired of the problem. We're looking for the answer, we're looking for the solution. And so that's why I'm here. We need leadership. And so I'm showing up again. So we're here and we're ready to take this city.
Definitely need leadership. Definitely need leadership. Now, you just focus on the meeting and the forum that was held on last evening. Let's talk about those 5 strategies that you presented to the audience.
Yes. So my targets are going to be very clear. I want to hit and target property. Most of them see the stats. If you don't, then you should see them. But when I first got here 10 years ago, we were the number 1 city in the country for poverty. Lately, I've studied, and we're down to like number 4 right now. That's still an extremely high number to be recognized in this country as poverty. So I want to eliminate poverty. That's my goal. That's number 1. We want to stimulate our economy. That's number 2. We want to also provide quality, affordable housing. It's just disheartening to me to see the condition we're already in, and then you just force people into a permanent renting situation and not try to assist people into ownership. We have a situation right now going on right on the east side of town where they All this land is being developed into mobile homes that they're charging people $1,200 to rent. And so if you can afford $1,200 renting a mobile home, then surely we can help you with some quality homes that can be worth your investment 5 and 10 years from now when you want to leave legacy to your kids. Fourth thing, I want to attract jobs that have living wages. This is so important because I don't think the citizens of this city are fully aware of how many companies have tried to come in this city and leadership have blocked and stopped it from happening. And so it's again a very discouraging situation because we have so many people here that needs not just a job, but a job that pays living wages that you can actually live off of, thrive off of, get your family progressing into a better economic situation. And then the fifth thing will be reducing crime. That's another stat that has been just high. It's just been high, and we've been recognized all over the country again as one of the highest cities of crime, one of the capitals in this country. And so we need to really focus on that crime issue, and let's work on that and get that down. So those are my five points that I'm targeting as mayor of this city.
But now let's focus, on a population that has more than 70% African Americans. Where is the breakdown when it comes to supporting a candidate such as you? How can we get the community more involved?
Yeah, so there's a couple factors that I would like to mention there. And one is historically, we've always seen a situation or scenario where the votes are being split, right? We have so many African American candidates that are running for office, and it's splitting up the votes. And so that's one issue. The other thing is that typically people here are accustomed to voting for people that they're born and raised with. I knew them, when they were a little boy, a little girl, and all of this. And it's just like, okay, that's good, that's cute, that's wonderful. Let's invite them to the family reunion and give them some barbecue. But it doesn't mean that they're qualified to be the mayor of this city or to lead this city in any type of leadership capacity. And that's the reality. I think people don't understand from a political standpoint. We should be assessing the candidates as though you are a CEO of a company. And then you evaluate who you're hiring to now be the COO or the CFO, somebody that is in an executive position of your company. And you don't do that based off of who's my friend. You do that based off of who is more qualified for the position. And whoever is more qualified for the position is the one that you give the position because they're qualified. And sometimes that means pulling in somebody from outside. Sometimes it means pulling in somebody that's, that you don't know, but you looking at their track record and looking at their qualifications and say, yeah, this is the person that's going to help our company go to the next level. And this is who we're going to go with and choose. And so that's how we should be approaching the situation. I think the other aspect of that is trying to educate our community better on the political issues. I think a lot of people here are just fully not aware of things that are taking place politically on their behalf without their input, without their opinion, without their voice, without consideration of how they feel about it, their views. And I want to change that. I want to be a very transparent mayor, and I want to make sure that I'm inclusive and understand the power of collaboration and making sure that we bring this community together and let's all collectively determine what it is that's best for our communities and our families here.
How would you handle the situation with the Greyhound Bus Station if you were currently the mayor or even in a political role in the city of Albany?
Yeah, so, it's, and here's the issue, and I'm going to try to simplify everything the best I can. But one of the things about it is every issue here, I see it from such a 360 view, right? And not just one track or one way. So when I look at the Greyhound situation, it's disheartening because one, we should be able to facilitate and accommodate those type of situations here within the city, and we should be able to partner with them. We built this place right here downtown, and most people know if they live here, they've seen the new facility they built for the city busing. I think that should have been a perfect location for the Greyhound to partner with us, and we worked that out. If you go there and you realize where they're at now, and you see these people out there, single moms with kids that's standing out there waiting, and the situation is just horrible, to say the least, right? And
there's unacceptable.
It's just unacceptable. And so I feel like we need to get more involved with things like that. I think for the longest, we've allowed outside companies and contracts to get in a position, our relationship with us, that don't benefit us, and neither do it really benefit them, because we don't know how to work together. There should have been a meeting. There should have been several meetings, and we figure out what it is that we can compromise at and make sure that we can bring that in a place where it's safe and it's convenient for our people to be able to commute where they got to go, and people that want to come here, they can commute here without having to go somewhere else at a gas station and then got to find another ride to get to the gas station just to come into town. And so, so I would have definitely handled that differently. I think one of the things that I have to offer is that I'm not afraid to talk things out with companies, whether they're big or small, doesn't matter, and let's come to a resolve collectively. Let's come to something that actually works for us. I think here it's just kind of like, well, y'all do what you want to do, we're going to do what we want to do, and just let it be. And it's not really considering the impact it make on the people here in this community.
You know, on last evening, one of the gentlemen were talking about the leadership in the city. What are your thoughts when you think about the leadership, in particular, the mayor and the city commissioner's office?
So somebody asked, what is our number one issue here in this city? And my response, I know they expected for me to say crime, this and that. I told them it's the lack of leadership, because this is how I approach problems and situations, and why I've been successful at the things that I've done in life. There's two different ways you can deal with something. You can deal with it from the fruit of it or the root of it, right? So
Right.
You deal with it from the root, from the seed of it, then automatically by default, it's going to fix whatever fruit is on the tree. So I think for the longest, we're complaining about all the different fruits. The crime is a fruit, the poverty is a fruit, the all this stuff is fruits on the tree. But if you don't change the seeds that's in the ground, the root issue, then it's just going to keep growing up again if we keep picking at it. And so if we get leadership in here, it's almost like uprooting, right, the old and replanting new seeds. And if you're tired of having oranges and you want apples now, then you're gonna have to replant new seeds, right? You can't just pick the oranges off the tree and expect for apples just to show up. Right. So we got to fix the leadership. It is the leadership responsibility to lead this community into what it is supposed to be, right? There is a passage that says, where there is no vision, the people perish, right? And so if you have leadership that don't have vision, then by default, the people are going to perish. The city is going to perish. So we need leadership that have vision, and not only vision, we need leadership that's strong enough to execute the vision, because anybody can come up with a good idea and put it on paper, but 70% of people with good ideas never do them. They die with the idea. So I'm a person that have a proven track record, again, 25 years of business, very successful at it. I know how to get in and get the job done. And that's what I want to do. I want to get in, I want to get the job done. Let's not make excuses on why we can't do it. Let's just figure it out and get it done. And so we need some great leaders in there, and we need somebody with innovation, creativity, right? And something with fresh ideas, new ways of doing things, new perspectives, right? Sometimes you can't see everything that needs to be seen when you've always been up close to it. Sometimes it's good to have somebody that has a broader perspective on things, so they can see things a little bit different and see what you probably been missing the whole time. And so I bring all of that to the table, and I'm ready to use it to advance this city.
What are your thoughts on the downtown district, mainly on the riverbanks? What do you perceive in the future for the city?
So I've created a plan for the Flint River area connecting into downtown, and I'll be happy to share that with you. It involves three components. One of them is retail, one of them is residential, and the other is entertainment. Now, I want to go a little further, because some of my other candidates mentioned certain things that are a little similar, but we are totally different on how we go about doing it. For example, when I deal with residential aspect of it, one of the candidates are suggesting that we put college dorms, bring Albany State on through there and bring college dorms on down to the riverfront. And I don't agree with that, because it's not a way to generate finances back to the city, to build the city. When you look at it from a real estate standpoint, I'm a real estate investor and developer. So riverfront property is the most valuable property in any city. I don't care what city you go to, that is the most valuable property. So I wouldn't as a leader of this city, decide to put property on that property, our dorms on that property, that we cannot get one penny from for taxes, right? It just kills the value of the property. So I propose, yes, I have a part of my plan, residential, but I think we need to build retail type of structures where we have retail on the bottom and condos on the top that overlook the river. So you have riverfront condos. And so now all of the upper middle class and lower high class income that keeps running to Lee County can now have something they'll run back here for and say, hey, we got a condo on the riverfront, right? And then we can charge the taxes on that money to generate the funds back to the city. Okay. Now, when it relates to the retail, I've suggested as well. Let me be clear. When I say retail, I'm not talking about the very low bottom retail. We let Dollar Generals pop up everywhere in this community. We need to get middle class. Again, I'm very clear. We can't afford the Louis and the Gucci, but we got places like Express, like Forever 21, things that our citizens leave this city every month and go travel to Atlanta to spend their money for these type of stores. We need to attract these stores right here. And we also be able to generate money from that as well. Third component is entertainment. When you look at other cities like Savannah, Georgia, that have riverfront property, you have live entertainment. You have a lot of restaurants with live bands. You have festivities and things that's going on that almost any given night of the week, you got somewhere you can go and relax. You can take your family or just you and your spouse and just enjoy a night out. Fun, safe, and clean. And we need that type of entertainment, not just waiting for a big concert to come to the Civic Center. I'm talking about constant stuff that keeps our city thriving. And so if we do all of this with developing that riverfront property, it'll tie into downtown, and then it will begin to now attract more growth, right, and attention to the downtown area. And so that's my plan. That's what I propose, and I know it's possible to happen. Again, it's not something that we can do overnight. But if we start working on it, chipping away at it, do one phase at a time, second phase and three phases, we surely can get that job done and have a very profitable benefit of utilizing all of that undeveloped land around our Flint River.
Awesome. So I'm going to backtrack because the governor recently approved a grant for $923,000. How would you transform the city?
So, with grants, then the next question has to be, what is it allocated for?
It's allocated for improvements of the city.
Okay. So
it's a grant to transform the city.
Gotcha. So for me, and I'm very realistic. I don't like to sell dreams that's not realistic. When you're talking about transforming the city, with just a little bit under $1 million, it's not a lot of development you can do with $1 million. So what I would do with $1 million is I would find a way to stimulate our economy, right? We see it from federal levels, like how they send out stimulus checks to the citizens of our country. They kind of help put a little money in their pocket to get them in their individual homes, just kind of a little step ahead. If you ask around in this community, and again, I serve as a person that has an organization that actually help families in need, you'll see it's so many people that are right at that level of just, I'm a month behind. I'm just a month behind. Every month, they're just a month behind, right?
Yeah.
And so with $1 million, I would simply figure out how we can break this up to the citizens in this city and just stimulate them in a way that they got a little extra thing. But I would do it strategically. I wouldn't just necessarily give them the money, but I would do it something like apply it to their light bill or apply it to their rent, something that I know will help them, because at the same token, you're dealing with people that don't know how to manage money. So if you give them $1,200, they're going to go buy clothes and shoes that are paying their rent up or their light bill. So we'll find a way creative that we will set them up in a position that it kind of give them a little push ahead and get them kind of on track. So that's what I would do with the money. I would give it back to the citizens of this community.
What are your thoughts on reparations?
You got some great questions, First Lady. My thoughts on reparations, I believe we deserve it. I believe it's due to us. I believe it's overdue. I believe it's behind due. There's a commercial that says, "It's my money and I want it now." That's what I believe. I believe that we should find a way that we can do that. Contrary to some belief systems, the reality is what it is. The facts are what they are. We have been behind. right? We have been set behind because of the things that have taken place to our forefathers. Now I understand from the mindset, oh, well, it didn't happen to you directly. Well, if it happened to my granddaddy, and then it means it's an effect to my mother, and that means it was an effect to me. There's no way you can get around that, right? Which is why individually I work so hard to set my children up to be better, because I understand that everything I do, I don't do will affect my next generation. Okay, so yes, it needs to be something that we need to consider. It needs to be something that we need to have serious conversation around, and I'm all for it 100%. You know, I understand it ain't something I can solely decide to do on my own, but it will have my vote every day, all day.
When it comes to affordable housing, you have a liking for ownership as opposed to renting. Share with the audience a little bit about why you're so passionate about sharing it with the community and getting more owners in your community.
Absolutely. Oh my God, that's such a great question. So when you think about it from the aspect of legacy, when you think about it from the aspect of breaking poverty, if you go back to my 5 points, I said I want to target poverty, right? In order to combat poverty, you have to empower. Okay. Being in a position of ownership when it comes to property or real estate, it puts you a couple of steps ahead. Because now not only am I spending money every month that's investing back into something that's my own, but I'm also setting up my next generation to inherit something that's going to put them a little bit further ahead, and they don't have to start all the way back, right? And so when you're renting, all of your money that you're paying for housing every month is being thrown out, going to somebody else and making their life situation better, but it's keeping you at the same spot. You're moving, but you're not going anywhere. So for me, I feel if we put them in a position to own their own home, now the money that they're spending, whether it's $800 or $1,200 or anything in between, or anything under or over, then that money is investing back into something that 20 years from now can be mine. I have a piece, as we will call it, of the American dream, if y'all want to use that terminology. I have a piece, right? And then not only do I have a piece, and when we start educating people of the power of real estate and educating how the value of it is going up, right? As time go on, it's going up. So it's like putting money in a bank account, but it's growing faster than what it would be if it's in an account. So it's creating wealth for them. It's actually creating wealth that is now turning to generational wealth when you teach your children the power of it and you leave that with them. Right. So when you leave that power with them through leaving them property and real estate, and people ain't fighting over $500 trying to see who's going to bury and raise GoFundMes, then we could talk about breaking poverty. Right. So all of that ties to my plan to break poverty. We have to get people out of renting, get them into home ownership, let them understand the power of that, and put them in a position to actually have a chance at having.
Screen, share with the audience how they can get involved with your campaign, how they can come out and rally your campaign and your mission to move the city forward.
Absolutely. We have a website up. It's Vote for Screen. Vote the number 4 screen.com. They can go on there. It's a place on there where they can be a volunteer. They can put in their information and fill it out for a volunteer. We also have a phone number that they can call and our office and get some volunteer information. We have yard signs. We have flyers. We have so many things that they can do that's just can get them involved, right? In addition to that, on the same website, they can see my plan. It's been very thought out, very prepared. I've been assessing this situation for a while now, right? And so they'll see on there my plan in much more detail, all the different areas, not just saying this is what I want to do, but tell you how I plan to go about doing it. So if you want to know more information about that, they can do that as well. I'm also open to do gatherings, pop-ups. You know, if you got a group of people, your family, your friends, you want to pull them together, call our office, set up a day at a time for me to come through. They can ask questions. And I want to say this as well, because I've been campaigning now for a couple of weeks, and I've said the same thing. People automatically treat me like a politician, right? They expect for you to come in and give a speech and say, I need your vote. I'm a little different. So I don't just want to come and talk to you all. I want to come and hear from you all, because I want to hear what's affecting your house, what's affecting you, right, in your life in this city. Because everybody comes from different dynamics. And so it helps me encompass what I feel I need to have a better view of what's really happening in the city, so I can try to target as much things as I can. So please, if you're going to invite me, let there be opportunity for me to ask you questions. I like to hear more than I am talking, right? And so, but I'm open for it. So give us a call. That number is 229-712-1007. That's 229-712-1007. And we will assist you. Somebody on our staff will definitely contact you back. And yeah, they can get involved. It's also a place they can give donations for our campaign. We definitely need financial contributions. And so yes, to help get the word out. But we're hitting the ground running. I mean, we're running. We want to really bring change to this city. I think the timing is right.
Awesome. Screen, final question. First 100 days, if elected, how would your days look?
My first 100 days will be doing a full assessment of how the leadership has been run, right? There's only so much you can see from the outside looking in. So now being inside, I want to really assess it from the inside. I want to really know what I'm dealing with internally, really know the players, really know the decisions that have been made, whether they were good or bad or indifferent. I want to really get a scope of what I'm dealing with so that I can strategize even the more on what and how, should I say, how we execute our plan. And so that's what I plan to do. I want to do an audit of the books, right? We can request for there to be a forensic audit of the books so we can know exactly what has been spent on what projects and what things. There's so much money of our own tax money, our dollars in our community that have been spent on projects that failed, right? We want to see that. We want to learn from those mistakes. We don't want to continue to repeat the same thing. We can't allow people to come in. We give them millions of dollars to do something, they get gone, and then we don't wasted all this money and there's still no development. We got to fix all those things. And so I was planning to spend the first 100 days, not necessarily jumping in there and just making a lot of change. I want to really take the time to assess exactly what we're dealing with, and then now be able to strategize even more how to execute our plan with efficiency and effectiveness. So yeah, that's what I want to do.
Awesome. I also would like to commend you on your first statement when you said that, there has been so many leaders that has been put into the mayor position, one of the most important positions in the city, because of who you know and who likes you.
Wow. Yes.
I really appreciate that. We wish you continued success. We'll definitely be staying abreast, making sure that we remain vigilant. Wish you success, and I can't wait to see what happens on November 7th.
Yes. So everybody get out to vote. Tell your family and your friends, get out to vote. Tell your co-workers, get out and vote. Listen, tell your enemies to get out and vote. You ain't got to like them, but you need their support in this moment. And you got to learn how to work together when you need to work together. And that's one of the things that I have just a very good grace to do. I don't see enemies when we got to meet for a common cause. If we're all here for the agenda of moving this city together, you got to learn how to put your personal feelings to the side. And let's get this thing done for the betterment of this city and this community. So get out to vote. I know we have a lot of problems, a lot of issues, but I believe together we can save our city.
Amen. Well, thank you so much for sharing today's screen. We wish you the best, and I'll definitely be back in touch. Until then, I'm going to say goodbye.
Thank you so very much again for your time.
One love.
All right.
All right, guys. That was Antonio Screen. He stopped by to share his mission and his platform with us. He's running for the 2023 mayor of the city of Albany. Thank you for joining me today on True Life Experiences, Politics in America 2023. As I said, we're covering the city of Albany mayor race of 2023. I am the First Lady, Minister Jazzy. Until then, continue to keep God first in your life. We are keeping community first. One love, I'm out.
sent to Albany, Georgia. I got Albany, Georgia in my heart. As I visit Herder Park with daughter, wife, and son, we'll view the